All right, folks, we are back again with the Astrology, and today we'll be doing Purva Bhadrapada Nakshatra with Achala. So, namaste and welcome, Achala.
Namaste, Dr. Paiji. I will just share my screen. Okay. Oh, I'll go here. So today we are starting already with two nakshatras which are connected to Muladhara chakra, so the root chakra. And it's very, very interesting if we look at that just two of them are ruling this particular chakra, because Uttara Bhadrapada and Purva Bhadrapada, they are both nakshatras ruled by Rudras, by cosmic snakes also by the deities of awakening. And when we think about Uttara Bhadrapada and Purva Bhadrapada, we can immediately connect it with the Kundalini Shakti, with the Kundalini power. And Purva Bhadrapada is more connected with this forceful power that is awakening within us, while Uttara Bhadrapada is more like this magnetic stabilizing force, making us stable. So this is why they're both called Bhadrapadas, right? And they were also called Proshtapadas. So it's all about finding this stability, right? Finding this, these are like the legs of the stool. So finding our stability here. And this is why these nakshatras are very, very important, especially on spiritual path, to be very well developed, and especially if they are afflicted. And I've seen it many times. And when Uttara Bhadrapada or Purva Bhadrapada is afflicted, and if the person is doing certain spiritual practices, person can get very easily ungrounded and even have some Kundalini problems. So that's why these nakshatras I find very, very, very important on the spiritual path, because they are very, very much connected with Muladhara chakra. And always when we are talking about spiritual growth, it's like everywhere else, we first need to get down the basics, right? The basics of life, which is grounding, connection to reality, and just walking firmly on our feet. So let us start with the mantra to Purva Bhadrapada Nakshatra. And these are two Beejas, Vam and Sham. So the mantra is Om Vam Sham Purva Bhadrapada Nakshatraye Namaha. Om Vam Sham Purva Bhadrapada Nakshatraye Namaha. Om Vam Sham Purva Bhadrapada Nakshatraye Namaha. That's the mantra for Purva Bhadrapada Nakshatra. And here are certain words that can be derived from these Beej mantras. So first we have Vam, vomit, which I kind of very much associate with this current of energy that is going up, that wants to erase things, burn things. Because also when Kundalini Shakti is awakening, it's burning everything on its way, all the impurities. Then we have also Van, wind, which is showing the ambitious side of this nakshatra also. Then Vas, to shine or to dwell. Then Vash, to be eager. Va, to carry, to go also. Vish, to enter. And Visha also is a poison. So it's one important word that I've forgotten to put here. And when we think about another Beeja, Sham, Sham means literally to be quiet. Then Sha, to sharpen, or Shak, to be able. And this to be quiet, I think, is very interesting, but especially Sham is the Beeja prescribed for this particular nakshatra, because this energy can become really wild. And because when we think about this energy, it's ultimately is denoted by a pillar of light, and pillar that is just rising high and really burning everything on its way. And also this nakshatra, because its animal is a lion, so it's very much like Narasimha Deva, because he also came out of pillar. He broke the pillar and he came and destroyed everything. It's similarly like when the spiritual awakening happens within us, it's really forceful. It's not like you're just sitting on meditation and it's going to be completely pleasant. Actually, when you do a real spiritual practice, very intense one, first what you are going to feel and experience in life, that a lot of karmas are going much, much faster. A lot of things are speeding up in life also. And the most fascinating thing is that many people always are asking themselves that very often when you're doing some intense spiritual practice or even yajna, the fire sacrifice, and then you go to sleep, you will have horrible dreams very often because the purification keeps going even during the night. Because even Brahma Vaivarta Purana says that very often the negative dreams that we have in the night after spiritual practices, we are just simply going through some minor karmas through that dream. So we don't need to go through them in reality. So this Purva Bhadrapada Nakshatra really stands for this very fearful spiritual awakening. And similarly, like Uttara Bhadrapada Nakshatra, we can say it's more like a magnetic force that is stabilizing everything and calming it down. Purva Bhadrapada is more like this really electric current that is just going and that is just unstoppable. And that's why it's very important to honor this core current in us and to honor this energy and also to not abuse this energy. Because especially in our times, you can see so many people who just found some spiritual practice on the internet. They will keep going for it, even for some kriyas, because you can find them also on the internet. But when you do them without an initiation, without the blessing of the guru, these people can completely damage themselves. And it can even lead to people's death, literally. I don't want to scare anybody, but if really certain practices are done without blessing of a guru, everything can happen. Just like Paramahansa Yogananda said, it's like you would try to connect, like, I don't know, 20 watt bulb to a current that has 1,000 watts. It's just meant to be destroyed like that. And this is why these energies we really need to honor, and we really need to be very humble in front of them also. And that's why I think that it's very special that one of the Beejas for this nakshatra is Sham, to be calm, to be quiet. Because all these things we need to keep within ourselves also. And I also noticed that people who are born under this nakshatra, Purva Bhadrapada, they can have a lot of very beautiful spiritual experiences, and they are very sincere on their path very often as well. But they tend to talk a lot about the spiritual experiences. And really in this nakshatra is to be quiet, to not externalize everything so often, so immediately, to just keep it inside and to try to calm it down like that and to cool it down. Because only through actually keeping the experience within ourselves, we will be able to even handle it at all. And we will be able to deal with that. So that's one important thing I think about Purva Bhadrapada Nakshatra, to be more quiet more often and to not act so immediately, because after all, it's nakshatra ruled by one of the Rudras, but by one of the serpents. So short temper is a very powerful thing here. So that's a very important part. And this is the picture I found of Purva Bhadrapada Nakshatra. It's one of these pictures from Bengali Museum in Kolkata. And it's very interesting because we see that here Purva Bhadrapada Nakshatra is present on a bird which is flying, so it's elevating again, because the power here is spiritual elevation to go higher. And also she's holding a lightning in her hand. So again, it's depicting this energy current that is very, very powerful. And I even came across long time ago, I came across a very interesting story that I somehow connected to Purva Bhadrapada Nakshatra with King Vikramaditya, how once he came to the river, and that's a very somehow esoteric and interesting story. And he came to some sort of river, and there was a pillar that was just going up and down, and the pillar was meeting with the sun. So he entered the pillar and he went to the sun and was traveling with the sun. It's quite a known story of King Vikramaditya. And I think that this is exactly what this nakshatra is really standing for, spiritual awakening of Kundalini that just goes up on like the pillar of light and just connects us to the sun, of the supreme consciousness, really. And interesting thing here with Purva Bhadrapada Nakshatra is that it has all the chakra energies within itself, and it is going to be the same with Uttara Bhadrapada. So these are both nakshatras that are very strongly connected with all the chakras, and because they're really elevating us through the chakras. And they are about really bringing this balance. Because if the chakras are not activated by this energy current, they are just dormant, basically speaking. This is why these two nakshatras are very strongly connected to all the chakras, I feel, but especially to Muladhara chakra, to the root chakra. So that was a little bit esoteric nakshatra today.
This is again, Achala, you've had all the points that I wanted to probably add as well, because you talked about the pillar of, the fire, which is uprising. You beautifully also talked about, the Narsimha avatar. And typically I connect this nakshatra with the fierce form of Narsimha, which is called as Ugra Narsimha. Okay, and then the next nakshatra, which is Uttara Bhadrapada, which is the most, the passive, the water dragon. I connect it with Lakshmi Narasimha. So I've seen when people have been going through a lot of highs and lows with the Bhadrapadas, although the Bhadrapadas I feel are very strongly, because both of them are Rudra nakshatras, Raudriya nakshatras, and and these two nakshatras are beautifully tuned for spiritual upliftment. Even even if you look at the Shakti of this nakshatra, is called as Yajamana Udayamana Nakshatra, which is again to build the spiritual fire within you. And the next nakshatra, Uttara Bhadrapada, it's called Varshadhyamana, which is bringing rainfall. So it's all about, one is rising up, another is, and somewhere I felt that there's a very strong connection with Kriya. And you
Yes.
brought this up, and you said, and you rightfully said, Kriya always has to be taken by initiation of a guru. It's very important. There's so many videos people do on YouTube, but it is not something that, because one of the techniques, there are many techniques that the guru will teach you, which you won't find it on videos or books or anywhere. So one of the beautiful techniques that I've seen is when you're doing Kriya and when you cycle through your chakras, the exhaling cycle, you my guru used to say, think of a fire dragon which is going down, and when you're inhaling, he says, think of a water dragon coming up to your, through your crown chakra, from whichever chakra. So when you inhaling, you bring the dragon of water, and you exhaling, bring the dragon of fire. So basically, this is what is all about, the cleansing, because fire and water both are cleansing. And so this Raudriya nakshatras, and this is beautifully you have said, they cover all the chakras. You talked about, Kritika nakshatra, then it was, I think, Shravana nakshatra, then it was Dhanishta nakshatra, then it is Purva Bhadrapada Nakshatra, and then we are talking about Uttara Bhadrapada Nakshatra, which covers most of the chakras. So these are where a lot of transformations can happen, and people who practice Kriya will benefit immensely these when they have these nakshatras there. But as you rightfully mentioned, you need to be initiated by a guru for Kriya. But I think this is a beautiful nakshatra. Even though people have vilified this nakshatra, but it is connected to the lion anyway. It's the Ugra Narsimha. And by meditating on Ugra Narsimha, you would be able to, as you said, the sum is to be quiet, is to go inside, is to, quell this fire which is uprising within you. I think that's
Yeah.
when you see the spiritual bliss, you see the spiritual, enlightenment which comes to. And I've seen a lot of people who can also go astray with this nakshatra, because I find,
Yeah.
because they go too deep into spirituality and they construe their own systems. And I've seen many of the cult gurus, the so-called cult gurus who have come up with new religions, new forms of, they're all very strongly Purva Bhadrapada.
Mm.
That's because they think out of the box. They think, and it's a beautiful thing that you mentioned about the Bengali thing and the electricity. Definitely, it's an electric city which is uprising, because she's holding that, and she's on a bird which is flying. And I see this as another nakshatra after Shatabisha, where I feel a very strong connection with aviation, air travel, UFOs, aliens, people who always imagine things. There is very strong connection with this. Even astronomy. I felt that many people who want to learn about astronomy, the stars, would have very strong connection with the Bhadrapadas. And secondly, uh, last bit I want to say is about this nakshatra is connected to Aja Ekapada. Aja Ekapada is a form of Shiva which is called as Ekapadasana Shiva. And you can see Shiva standing on one feet, and you can see in the image of Ekapadasana Shiva, there is Brahma and Vishnu also coming out from the that one feet he's standing in. So you can see Shiva in between, then you have Brahma, and you see Vishnu, and he's standing on a single feet. And what is this thing? This thing signifies that it's getting the balance right in your life. And people who
Yes.
can do Ekapadasana, or a Vrikshasana, like standing like a tree in yoga, I think you are basically trying to enhance the qualities and also trying to balance yourself. So balance is something which is very essential for the Purva Bhadrapada. And that's why they were called as Proshtapadas. Proshtapadas means the foot of a stool
Yes.
or a bench. And always have maintained that if there is an imbalance in your life and you have prominent planets coming or focal planets coming here in Purva Bhadrapada, then you will have to check the seat where you're sitting. It's the chair you're sitting. See the ergonomics of the chair. If is it wobbly? Is the feet, one of them is cracked or bent or damaged, or even the wheels of the chair you're sitting, if one is broken, I think you need to get them fixed immediately, because for you to bring the balance again back in your life, you need to have that the prostapada, the legs have to be healed, or they have to be cured, or they have to be fixed.
Mm.
And many a times I've seen people can benefit, Achalaji, by just standing on one feet and
Yes.
balancing themselves, and like a Vrikshasana, and just try this. When you have your eyes open, you feel balanced, but close your eyes, you lose your balance.
Yes.
The,
It's
the trick
completely.
is, yes, the trick is to go deeper inside and still be stable. And when you're standing on one feet, is to close your eyes and go very deep inside and be able to still balance your
Yes.
posture.
Yes, that's completely true. And when you say Dr. Paja, what Ajay Kapada, what also came to me, that very often people who are really born under this nakshatra, especially, they believe in certain unity of things. Also, I think that all the Jupiter nakshatras are very much about unity, also, especially Purva Bhadrapada. So believing in this axis mundi, right? Like there's this one center of the world, and from all of that, everything is coming. So they are very much about unity and seeing this unity in everybody. But sometimes they can go even into extreme into that unity. So you can see very much people actually with this nakshatra will say to you things like that, but everything is God, right? So why do you care what you're eating or what you're doing? Because everything is God. And this is where they can go astray, I feel, also, because they don't
Yes,
find this proper balance actually.
true.
And this is so beautiful when we look at Narasimha avatar. So when he appeared from the pillar of light, but it was neither day, neither night. He was neither animal, neither a human, neither God. He was all in one. So it's all these themes are so beautifully seen in Purva Bhadrapada Nakshatra, and I think that especially by studying the story of Narasimha, we can find so many beautiful things really about Purva Bhadrapada Nakshatra. He really just embodies this finding the right balance in life, I believe.
Beautiful. Because that's when you see it's also mentioned he was neither in, neither he was out. He was neither
Yes,
inside, he was actually at the door, standing one leg on one side of the door. So
yes,
all these things can, beautifully explain. It's about balancing. Neither day, neither night. Neither inside, neither outside. You know, all of this. Half human, half animal. So this
yes,
is this is the manifestation, is to balance the animal instincts in you as well as to able to enhance the human qualities of compassion, of devotion, of spiritual fire within you, to awaken this. And people who understand this will be able to, have a beautiful life with this nakshatra, because this nakshatra is very strongly connected to spiritual masters as well, and kriya masters or meditation and all of this.
yes, beautiful.
So great, Achala ji, this was fantastic. I really love that we're doing this series, and I get to learn so much from you, and from these chakras, these mantras and meditations, and always a pleasure. So I'm very very grateful that you're coming and doing this with us. So thank you very much again, and let's meet again tomorrow for the Uttara Bhadrapada Nakshatra. So namaste.
Namaste. Thank you.